Happy Friday, everybody! The Detroit Pistons are back in action again tonight for their third preseason game of the year. In this video, we are going to go over the three things that I'm most looking forward to in this game. We're going to go through some general game notes, but before we dive into that, I do want to give you guys a quick rundown on when and where you can watch. So this game will be against the Phoenix Suns. Of course, we just played them in East Lansing. This time it's going to be out in Phoenix. It will be tonight, October 11th, Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Now, one huge note that I want to prepare you all for is this game will not be broadcasted on Bally Sports Detroit like normal. Whatever your alternative method is for streaming NBA games, whether that be NBA League Pass or sailing the high seas, get ready to do that, so when the game time rolls around, if you are looking to watch, you're not caught off guard, as this is one of the few games this year that will not be hosted on Bally Sports Detroit. So, a couple things to note for this game. The number one thing that I am most looking forward to is it sounds like Tobias Harris is gonna be back and making his debut. I'm not sure how comfortable I am with calling it his Pistons debut, considering that he, of course, has played here before. But we're going to roll with it. It sounds like he will be debuting for the Pistons. Now, in case you guys were unaware, Tobias Harris did not play in either of the first two preseason games. It was initially reported that he was out with an illness, but it sounds like now that he actually had COVID and just returned to the team yesterday. So overall, I'm definitely counting on him to play. If he doesn't, I wouldn't be absolutely shocked, all things considered. As of right now, I have no way to say for certain because there's no injury report out yet, and I don't even know for sure if they do those for preseason games, period. But it sounds like he's back fully practicing yesterday, and he should be ready to go tonight. So what am I expecting out of Tobias's preseason debut? Nothing too crazy. Now, we've talked about it on the channel in depth plenty before. I definitely think that Tobias Harris will be a starter for this team. Whether he'll start in his first game back from COVID in a preseason matchup, that's an entirely different question. So that doesn't really dictate too much of what I think. But assuming that he does make it out onto the floor at some point, I really want to see how his synergy works with Cade. I want to see what the offense looks like more than anything with Tobias Harris just being Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris, of course, has been in the NBA for long enough that we should have a pretty good idea of what to expect. But it will be interesting to see how he fits in with the guys out there like Cade, Ivey, Simone, Duren, and everybody else that he'll be sharing the floor with. So overall, pretty excited to see Tobias getting back into action here, and definitely will be the number one thing that I am looking forward to tonight. So the second thing that I'm going to be looking forward to is going to be to see if Cade can get rolling. Now, Cade only had 3 points in the last preseason game. He didn't play in the second half at all. He finished with 8 assists to only 1 turnover, so there was some nice things to take away there. He's had some nice blocks throughout the preseason, but we really haven't seen Cade get into his aggressive, I'm going to go get 3 or 4 buckets within 3 or 4 minutes type of mode yet, which we all know that he can do. I'll be curious to see if Cade starts to kind of up the aggression offensively a little bit here towards the back half of the preseason, maybe play less or similar minutes, but look to call his number a little bit more often. But we'll just be interested to see if Cade can get the ball rolling on the scoring, because we know he's capable of doing it, but we haven't seen a ton of it yet in the preseason. So the third thing that I am most looking forward to is seeing if Jaden Ivey can keep up his hot streak. Jaden Ivey has been the main takeaway for me through the first 2 preseason games. He was fantastic against the Bucks. He was really solid against the Suns in their first matchup. Curious to see how he makes out here in the third game. Now, of course, it is the preseason, and I'm never the type of person to try and get ahead of myself. Matter of fact, most of my life, I'm the type of person who says the NBA regular season doesn't officially start until Christmas. But it has been encouraging to see the strides that Jaden Ivey has been making. It seems very, very real and very translatable to me, because a lot of the things that he has improved on is stuff that we have kind of been hoping and looking forward to him making improvements on for a couple years now. The decision making, playing with more pace, being more decisive, picking and choosing his spots better, being more active on defense. All of that type of stuff seems to be improved. And of course, the shooting too. So really happy with the way Jaden Ivey's been playing. I don't expect it to be any different tomorrow, but if it is, that's okay because it is the preseason. But will be interesting to see if he's able to keep up his hot streak because he has definitely been the main takeaway here so far in the preseason. Overall, at the end of the day, this is just a preseason game, so I don't have a whole lot more to say on it. A couple of the things that I'll be looking to for the Sun side is just kind of seeing how they manage to kind of cap the scoring because we all know that Suns team, when they get hot, they are very hard to stop. We saw it in the first matchup. We saw it even against the Bucks too. Just a lot of shooting, so it would be nice if we can maybe do a little better job of closing out and preventing running dudes off the line, things like that. But overall, don't have a lot to say about the Sun side of things. It's pretty cool that Monte Morris is over there now. I really was kind of hoping that the Pistons and him were going to work out last year, just him being a Flint native. I actually watched him play in high school. So yeah, was kind of hoping that would work out last year on a side note, but wish him the best of luck for him in Phoenix and do enjoy watching him. So nevertheless, I don't have a whole lot more on this game right now. It's going to be a late one. Happy to see Tobias back. Curious to see what Cade Ivey can do. And the rotation, I think, is probably going to sort itself out, but I wouldn't be surprised if JB tries a couple different things that maybe we didn't see in the first games. I know that in game 2, it was a surprise to me to see Lamar Stevens actually playing with the second unit in the second quarter. So might see something a little bit out of left field. If I was going to call a number on anything, it would maybe be like Paul Reed getting more minutes with one of the first 2 units, or potentially Marcus Sasser getting an opportunity to run the offense in the first half, but not really all that sure. It will be interesting to see how the rotation kind of evens out, assuming that Tobias is back, because that means somebody will go to the bench. The starters weren't consistent in game 1 or game 2, so that is something to keep an eye on. Be interesting to see who the 5th starter is out there, because I think it's pretty safe to assume at this point that Cade, Ivey, and Duren and Tobias will be starting. I think that the 5th one will be Simone, but it also could be Malik Beasley, and I wouldn't be entirely shocked. So let me know what you guys think. I think that I probably won't have a recap out for this game until tomorrow morning, just because this is going to be a 10 o'clock game that probably doesn't finish well after midnight. I know it's a Friday night, so maybe I'll stay up and get a recap out after the game, but at the very least, I will be up for the game itself, and I'll have a recap up for the game the following morning. So I'll catch up with you guys soon. See ya.